Welcome to my channel Crazy to Learn. Today we will discuss some multiple choice questions of Newton's laws of motion. Let's start. Today's first question is, if a constant force is applied to a mass, it moves with a uniform velocity, acceleration, angular velocity or momentum. It is asked to you, constant force is applied. We know from the Newton's second law of motion, F is equal to ma. F is equal to ma. That means the applied external force is equal to the product of mass and acceleration. And what is given in your question? The constant force. That means this factor is constant. F is equal to ma. F is constant. That means m into a also constant. M into a constant, and we know that the mass of an object is always constant. Mass is constant. So when we will get a constant factor, as m is constant, a must be constant, so that when two constants will be multiplied with each other, then we will get another constant value. So what will be the answer? Second option, B, acceleration is the correct answer. Okay, if a constant force is applied to a mass, it moves with a uniform acceleration. Constant acceleration means uniform acceleration. Clear? Our next question is, definition of a force comes from Newton's first law or second law or third law or none of this. Definition of force, that means what is force, comes from second law. B is the correct answer, because in the previous question we already discussed the applied external force F is equal to ma. What is Newton's second law explains to us? The rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the applied external force. Yes or no? The rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the applied external force. Rate of change of momentum means dp by dt is directly proportional to the applied external force, and we know that the momentum p is equal to mass into velocity. Put here, what will you get? D mv by dt proportional to f. As we know that mass is constant for a constant object, if you will take an object for the throughout the observation, we will get the mass of the object is same. So you can take the mass as a constant factor. So take it out. What will you get? M dv by dt proportional to f. Then dv by dt, we know dv by dt, rate of change of velocity with time, rate of change of velocity. So rate of change of velocity is acceleration. So mass into acceleration is directly proportional to the f. So you can write f. Experimentally it is found that f is equal to ma. As here the proportionality constant is equal to 1, so f is equal to ma. So from the second law of motion, we are getting that the applied external force is equal to the product of the mass of the object and acceleration of the object. So we will say the definition of a force comes from Newton's second law of motion. And this second law of motion is also called the real law of motion, because the Newton's first law and the third law we can derive from the second law. So the second law of motion is called the real law of motion. In some exams it will be also in different way, it can be asked which law is known as the Newton's real law of motion. First law, second law, third law, none of this. So what will be the answer? The second law of motion is called the real law of motion. Clear? Our next question, a body of mass 2 kg is hung on a spring balance mounted vertically in a lift. If the lift descends with an acceleration equal to the acceleration due to gravity, then the reading on the spring balance will be 2 kg, 2.2 kg, 2 by g kg or 0. Read the question carefully so that you can get the answer. The lift is descends, that means the lift is descending, that means accelerating downward. And in my previous videos I already discussed, when the lift accelerates downward, in that case the apparent weight of the body, the apparent weight is equal to the mg minus ma, or we can write m into g minus a. So here it is asked to you, acceleration equal to the acceleration due to gravity. That means a is equal to g, acceleration is equal to the acceleration due to gravity. So in the place of a we can write g. So m into g minus g is equal to g minus g is equal to 0. So m into 0 you can write 0. The answer is 0. Option D is the correct one. Otherwise you can, without any calculation, you can directly say when a body is accelerating downward equal to the acceleration due to gravity, that means it is the case of free fall case. And in the case of free fall, the weight of the body we will take as 0, free fall case, and the acceleration is equal to the acceleration due to gravity, it is equal to 9.8 meter per second square. It is the case of free fall case. So without any calculation we can choose that directly, we can choose the option D. Okay, clear? The next question is, a man of weight W is standing on a lift which is moving upward with acceleration A. The apparent weight of the man is. You will say it is a very easy question, but the options are given in a different way. So I put this question here. So we all know that when a man is standing on a lift and the lift is moving upward, that means accelerating in upward direction, upward, then we know that apparent weight is equal to mg plus ma. Okay, but here the option is not given to you. W into 1 plus a by g, w into 1 minus a by g, w into 1 minus a square by g square. So it will be confusing for the students. No need of any confusion. Just as m is present in both the cases, take m as common, we will get g plus a. But in every option w is given to you, which is w here represents weight, and we know that w weight is equal to mass into acceleration due to gravity. So if we will take m as common, we will not get the answer. So we have to take mg common. So m already taken. When we will take g also common, so what will left here? And only 1 will left. plus, in this place only A is there, so after taking G, what will left? A by G. Okay, and in the place of mg, just put, as we know that weight is equal to mass into acceleration due to gravity, in the place of mg just put w, so w into 1 plus A by G. Okay, if you will go in the reverse direction, solve this and go in the reverse direction, we will again get mg plus ma. So this value is also equal to mg plus ma, only in different way is represented here. The options are, so which one is the correct option? Option A is the correct one. Okay, w into 1 plus A by G is the correct one. Clear? Our next problem is, two bodies of masses m and 4m are moving with equal kinetic energies. The ratio of the linear moments is 1:4 or 4:1 or 1:2 or 1:1. So you have to know what is linear momentum. We know linear momentum P is equal to mass into velocity, but here we have to create a relationship between the momentum and kinetic energy. You know the formula, P square is equal to 2m kinetic energy. You will say, how you derived this formula? It's very simple, because we know that the kinetic energy is equal to half mv square. You know kinetic energy is equal to half mv square, half into mass into velocity square. Just multiply m both the sides. Just multiply m both the sides. We will get m into kinetic energy is equal to half m into m, m square, v square, and half mv whole square. Take 2 to the left hand side, you will get 2m kinetic energy is equal to mv square, and mv, we know mv is equal to p, which is linear momentum, so you can write p square. So p square is equal to 2m kinetic energy. Clear? How I get this formula? All you are clear? Now come to our topic, two bodies of masses m and 4m with equal kinetic energy. So one mass is there m, another mass is there, which is 4m. Both have kinetic energy, same kinetic energy. Let the kinetic energy of the first body is Ke and second is also Ke, because they both have same kinetic energy. It is equal kinetic energy. It is given to you in the question. And mass of the first body is small m and second body is 4m. So what is the ratio of the linear momentum? So what will be the linear momentum of the first body? P1 is equal to, if you will put according to this formula, we will get 2m kinetic energy, P1 square, and the square of the linear momentum of the second body is equal to P2 square is equal to 2 into mass. Mass, what is the mass of the second body? 4m into kinetic energy. Okay? The ratio means P1 square by P2 square is equal to 2m into kinetic energy divided by 2 4m into kinetic energy. Just cancel 2 mm kinetic energy. Both kinetic energy same, because it is question, it is given to you both have same kinetic energy. So you are getting here P1 square divided by P2 square is equal to 1 by 4. We can write this as like this also, P1 by P2 whole square is equal to 1 by 4. So what will be P1 by P2? The P1 by P2 is equal to 1/4 square root of 1 by 4. You will get 1 by 2. Okay, so P1 by P2 is equal to, P1 is the momentum of the linear momentum of the first body and P2 is the linear momentum of the second body. So P1 by P2 is equal to 1 by 2. So what will be the ratio of the linear momentum of the two bodies? 1:2. Which is your answer. So which one is the correct one? So C is the correct option. The ratio of the linear momentum is 1:2. Clear? Our next question is, a body at rest explodes into two equal parts, then they move with different speed in different direction. Option B, they move with different speed in same direction. Option C, they move with same speed in same direction. Option D, they move with same speed in opposite direction. What is the correct one? So to solve this question, you have to know about the idea of law of conservation of momentum. We know what is law of conservation of momentum. Now when a body explodes, the law of conservation of momentum states that before explosion the momentum is equal to the after explosion momentum, the sum of the momentum of all the parts, it should be equal. So let us think that the body, a body is there and body has mass m and it explodes into two equal parts, equal small parts having mass small m. Then according to the law of conservation of momentum, if you will take this is as m1 and this is as m2, then according to the law of conservation of momentum, if this body has velocity capital V and this body has velocity small v1 and this body has velocity small v2, okay, before explosion this body has mass capital M, velocity capital V, and it explodes into two parts. One has mass m1 and another has m2. The velocity of the m1 body is v1 and velocity of the m2 body is v2. Then according to the law of conservation of momentum, capital mv is equal to small m1 v1. Capital mv, it is the momentum of the body before collision and before explosion, and after explosion what are the parts we are getting here? Two parts we are getting here, one is m1 and another is m2. So what is the momentum of the first part? m1 v1 and sum of the momentum of the second part. If you will get three parts, then the sum of all momentum of all three parts. If after explosion we will get 15 parts, then you have to find out the momentum of 15 parts and you should have to add them. So here as it is explodes into two parts, so momentum of first one is m1 v1 and momentum of the second is m2 v2. Okay, it is the law of conservation of momentum. Okay, but here something different is given to you. A body at rest explodes into two equal parts. A body at rest, that means here the capital V is equal to 0 and into two equal parts. So m1 is equal to m2. If you will take both m1 is equal to m2 as equal to m, so it will be m1 equal mass, equal parts, so m1 is equal to m2, and for this problem I take let take it as m1 is equal to m2, which is equal to small m. So it will be small m, it will be small m. As m1 and m2 are equal, I take it as small m. So put this thing in the above formula, what will you get? Now m into v is 0, so mv is equal to 0 is equal to mv1 plus small m v2, because m1 is equal to m2, and for m1 I taken here small m, and for m2 also small m. So mv1 plus mv2 is equal to 0. If you will move mv to the other side, what will you get? Now mv1 is equal to minus mv2. Okay, both the side we have m, so cancel from the both the side. We will get v1 is equal to minus v2. Yes or no? So v1 v2, we will get v1 v2 equal, v1 and v2 are equal, but a negative sign is there. So what we are getting here, after explosion the body is divided into two parts, and both the body parts have same velocity, because v1 is the velocity of the first body and v2 is the velocity of the second body. So both the velocity are same, but a negative sign is there, and here this negative sign indicates that they move in opposite direction. They both have opposite direction. So both have same velocity, but the direction is different. So which one is the correct one? They move with same speed in opposite direction, which is written in your option D. So option D is the correct one. A body at rest after explodes into two equal parts, then they move with same speed but in opposite direction, because this is positive one, this is the negative one, and here the negative sign indicates that the velocity will be in negative direction, opposite direction. Okay, clear? Our next problem is a bullet of mass small m moving with a speed small v strikes a wooden block of mass capital M and gets embedded into the block. The final speed will be. So just look, a bullet is there and bullet is fired to a wooden block. A bullet of moving mass m moving with a speed small v strikes a wooden block of mass capital M and gets embedded into the block. What is the meaning of embedded? Means deeply inside a surrounding body. Embedded means deeply inside. Now the bullet, after firing, the bullet is embedded in the wooden block. That means it is inside the wooden block. Clear? Inside the embedded inside into the block. Embedded inside or into the block. So this problem is similarly based upon the law of conservation of momentum, as we discussed in the previous question. So before firing the system is this one, and after firing the system is this one. Before firing the mass of the bullet is small m, and what is the velocity? Small v. So momentum, we know momentum P is equal to mass into velocity. So for this system the momentum is small mv. If we will go to this system, after firing we will get this system. So what is the mass of this system? The mass of the wooden block is capital M. But the system is now not only made up of wooden block. It is only made up of wooden block? No. Before firing the system is just an wooden block, but after firing the bullet is embedded into the block. So now the system is consists of two things. One is wooden block, another is the bullet. So now the mass of the system is mass of the wooden block plus mass of the bullet. And what will be its velocity? Let's think the velocity of this system is capital V, which is asked to you. The final speed will be, what will be the final speed? Let us think that let final speed is equal to capital V. So according to the law of conservation of momentum, the momentum before firing, after firing, both are same. So small mv, it is the momentum of the bullet. Before the firing, the system have momentum small mv. After firing, what is the momentum? The total mass into velocity. The total mass is total mass of the system. So capital M plus small m, it is the total mass of the system into final velocity capital V. Capital V. To distinguish both the velocity, I written here small v, capital V. It is the velocity of the bullet and this is the velocity of the total system. System means wooden block with the bullet embedded inside the wooden block. It is the second system. And it is asked to you, what is the speed of that system, final speed, what is? So we have to find out the capital V. So what will be the capital V? Just move the capital M plus small m to the left hand side. We will get the final velocity capital V is equal to small mv divided by capital M plus small m. It will be the final velocity of the second system, which is the wooden block embedded with the bullet. So which one is the correct option? The option C is the correct one. Clear? Our next question is, the following four particles have the same momentum. Which one has maximum kinetic energy? Electron, proton, deuteron or particle? So just to consider a general case, when two bodies are there, let two bodies are there, the mass of this body is small m and this body is capital M, and velocity of this body is small v and velocity of this body is capital V. If both the body has same momentum, what is the relation for the kinetic energy? We will find out first. When two bodies are there having same momentum, then what is the relation for the kinetic energy? Then it is easy, we can solve this question. So it is asked to you, both have same momentum. What is the momentum? What is the momentum for this body? Momentum of this body is small mv and momentum of this body is capital MV. Both have same momentum. Then small mv is equal to capital MV. So what is their velocity ratio? Small v by capital V is equal to capital M divided by small m. This is the ratio. Okay. So let the kinetic energy of this object is ke1 and kinetic energy of this object is ke2. So now we will find out what is their ratio of their kinetic energy. What is the ratio of their kinetic energy? Let kinetic energy 1 divided by kinetic energy 2. Kinetic energy of the first object divided by kinetic energy of the second object. And we know that the kinetic energy, what is the formula for the kinetic energy? The formula for the kinetic energy is half mv square. Half into mass of the object into velocity, square of the velocity. So half into, what is the mass of the first object? Small m. What is the velocity of the first object? Small v square divided by half mass of the second object capital M, velocity of the second object capital V square. Half cancel from the numerator and denominator. Okay. Now we will get small m divided by capital M into small b by capital B whole square. Yes or no? Okay. Then before we already calculated small b by capital B is equal to capital M by small m. So just put it here. Put this relation. We will get small m divided by capital M into small b divided by capital B is equal to capital M by small m. So here we will put capital M by small m whole square, which is equal to small m divided by capital M into capital M square by small m square. Cancel, cancel. So what we are getting here? Now capital M divided by small m. So finally what is the conclusion we drawn here? Now kinetic energy of the first object divided by kinetic energy of the second object is equal to the capital M by small m. Just cross multiply. Cross multiply. What we will get? Now kinetic energy of the first object into mass of the first object is equal to kinetic energy of the second object into mass of the second object. So product of the kinetic energy and mass of the first object is equal to the kinetic energy and mass of the second object. So we know that when two factors are there and two factors, the product are same for different cases. Then what is the relation? Inversely proportional or directly proportional? When two factors are there and their product are same, then we will say they are inversely proportional. And when their ratios are same, then we will say directly proportional. Okay? When the ratio are same, they are directly proportional. When their products are same, then they are inversely proportional. So kinetic energy, product of kinetic energy into mass of the first body is equal to the kinetic energy of the second body and mass of the second body. So the product is product of kinetic energy and mass are same for the both the cases. So kinetic energy and mass are inversely proportional. And when two factors are inversely proportional, when one increases, the second factor decreases. And when the first factor decreases, the second factor increases. So as here the question is asked to you, for which one has maximum kinetic energy? So kinetic energy maximum, that means we have to think mass with minimum. We have to think mass minimum. When the kinetic energy will be maximum? When the mass will be minimum. As kinetic energy and mass both are inversely proportional to each other, their product are same, so they are inversely proportional. And when they are inversely proportional, when one will maximum, other one will be minimum. If kinetic energy will be maximum, then mass will be minimum. And when the mass will maximum, the kinetic energy will be minimum. But for this question, it is asked to you, which one has maximum kinetic energy? That means you should have to think which one has minimum mass. You have to think which one has minimum mass. You have to find out that particle. So among these four, electron, proton, deuteron and alpha particle, which one has minimum mass? We know the electron has minimum mass. So the particle with minimum mass will possess maximum kinetic energy. Okay, clear? So what will be the answer? The answer is electron. As electron has minimum mass, it will have maximum kinetic energy. Clear? The particle with maximum mass will possess minimum kinetic energy, as kinetic energy and mass are inversely proportional to each other. Clear?